Good day everyone, this is Teresa Buena and today we'll have a review of the film entitled Speak. Speak is another excellent portrayal of a teenager suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder. This film is based on the award-winning book written by Laurie Halse Anderson and directed by Jessica Sharzer. Speak is a beautifully painful movie to watch as a teenage girl must navigate the complexities of adolescent friendships and high school life while holding a secret. Speak is one of the first films to portray a person whose happy and normal 14-year-old life falls apart due to an occurrence of a traumatic event, thus suffers from post-traumatic stress disorder. The movie portrays the life of Melinda Sardino as living a normal life and who is looking forward to a wonderful 4 years at high school with her best friend. Her world falls apart when she gets raped at a house party which she attends with her friends that summer. Traumatized, she calls the police but she's unable to say anything to anyone, including her friends and family members. Due to her trauma, she has entirely gone mute without anyone in her life noticing it. Her traumatic experience causes her to lose one thing which could be the most therapeutic for her: communication. She tells no one what happened and as a result is labeled by her classmates as a squealer. Since no one knows the truth about what happened, all her best friends and classmates exclude her. Her three best friends, not knowing the truth behind and wishing to begin their high school without stigma, avoid her and treat her harshly at times. All these elements contribute to Melinda's development of what can be diagnosed as post-traumatic stress disorder. Many of Melinda's behaviors are consistent with the DSM-5 diagnostic criteria for PTSD or post-traumatic stress disorder. Post-traumatic stress disorder is a psychiatric disorder that may occur in people who have experienced or witnessed a traumatic event such as natural disaster, a serious accident, a terrorist act, war or combat, or rape, or who have been threatened with death, sexual violence, or serious injury. The first and most obvious requirement is the exposure to some type of traumatic event. This is obviously represented by Melinda's experience when she got raped. Afterward, she is constantly reminded of her experience due to her classmates' consistent bullying. The primary reminder, however, is her horrific realization that her rapist attends her high school. These reminders manifest as flashbacks and nightmares and constitute what the DSM-5 labels as intrusive symptoms. In the film, these intrusive symptoms are a tool used to help relay the story. For Melinda, they are a horrific reminder of everything she has been through and cause her noticeable distress. This distress is manifested as it negatively alters her mood. Melinda never smiles, she rarely speaks, and nearly all of her free time is spent alone. She disdains the brighter, more cheerful clothes her mother chooses for her, and a lot of her internal dialogue throughout the movie is negative. Melinda's anxiety is openly displayed when she literally runs from the cafeteria when forced to be near her rapist, and upon arriving home when she muffles a scream into a shirt in her closet. Naturally, Melinda begins avoiding all the things that trigger her negative emotions. She stops communicating, neglects to participate in any extracurricular activities, and avoids reaching out to her family. A more concrete representation of her avoidance is her adoption of the abandoned janitor's closet at school. This closet becomes a sanctuary within a place she considers hell. In the closet, Melinda doesn't have to hear the name she is being called, and she doesn't have to feel threatened by her classmates. There, she is able to not only avoid all the negatives associated with her experiences, but is able to heal in any way she can. Patients with post-traumatic stress disorder may also experience alterations in arousal and reactivity. We can see alterations in arousal manifested in Melinda zoning out and daydreaming. Though she is physically at school, her mind is constantly elsewhere. Selective mutism is also observed as the byproduct of the PTSD in this movie. The opening of the movie is a symbolic representation to selective mutism. The very first scene when Melinda draws stitches across her mouth and then erases it. The soft voiceover where Melinda says, "All that crap you heard on TV about communication and expressing feelings is a lie. No one really cares what you have to say." Selective mutism is defined as a disorder wherein the individual refuses to talk. The movie elaborately displays how victims of rape are often too scared and ashamed to talk to anyone about what really happened. As a result, all this pain gets trapped up inside and leads to this disorder. Many of Melinda's symptoms could simply be interpreted as adjusting to a new high school environment. This, in a large part, allows her illness to go undiagnosed. Thus, in terms of direct treatment for post-traumatic stress disorder, Melinda never receives treatment. For Melinda, drawing is a mechanism by which she chooses to heal. The largest comfort is afforded by her art professor in the form of multiple projects centered on a randomly assigned object. Melinda did slowly open up to her art teacher and falls in love with art and uses it as an outlet to express herself. Eventually, Melinda finds her voice, exposes her attacker, and begins communicating with those around her. While this is not the end of her disorder, it is certainly a start and affords a brighter hope for the future. Speak is not only a movie that affords great insight into post-traumatic stress disorder, but it relays a story which is highly relatable. Many individuals with a psychiatric illness, no matter the extent, have found it difficult to communicate or speak. Many find their own methods of healing and some never find it in them to open up. High school can foster this atmosphere of avoidance, and Speak allows us insight into the manifestations of PTSD in this environment. Speak also handles the sensitive issue of rape in a very moving manner. Melinda is not a fighter, but it is a very true interpretation of what really happens to young people who are faced with a terrible situation early in their lives. The film sheds light on the adolescent need to be accepted by their peers. The stigma around mental illness and post-traumatic stress disorder in particular is very strong. Stereotypes that depict people with PTSD as dangerous, unpredictable, incompetent, or to blame for their illness can promote stigma. People with PTSD may fear embarrassment or shame too, and if they seek help, they may fear they'll be hospitalized. When stigma occurs, it can lead to discrimination or exclusion, and it could affect the person's educational or job opportunities. Stigma can also prevent individuals from seeking out help. People who suffer from self-stigma may have low self-esteem and believe they are not capable of working, living independently, or being healthy. When people with PTSD face stigma from people in relationships, they may start to believe that they are weak, damaged, or not good enough. And as a result, they believe others don't want to be around them. Remember that everyone is different. Your life is not the same as someone else. A person who hasn't experienced trauma in their lifetime may not understand someone who has. Whether or not you've come across someone who has been formally diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder, it is important to keep in mind that mental illness is serious and is a matter of life and death.